We teach girls to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller. We say to girls, you can have ambition, but not too much. You should aim to be successful.
Resilience.
Sisterhood.
A journey of liberation and love.
Is sisterhood in truth?
Self-care as a political act.
Is necessary.
I've had enough. I'm sick of seeing and touching both sides of things. Sick of being the damn bridge for everybody. Nobody can talk to anybody without me, right? I explain my mother to my father to my little sister to my brother to the white feminist to the black church folks to the ex-hippies to the black separatists to the artists to my friends' parents. Then I've got to explain myself to everybody. I do more translating than the goddamn UN. Forget it. I'm sick of it. To start with why the black feminist movement emerged, black feminism had a strong starting presence during the civil rights era due to the sexism that was taking place and as a way to distinguish black women from black men. Angela Davis and Ella Baker were two huge pioneers of the black feminist movement during this time, along with many others. Feminist scholar Angela Davis spoke and still speaks today on behalf of the issues that black women face. A famous quote by Angela Davis states, "Black women have had to develop a larger vision of our society than perhaps any other group. They have had to understand white men, white women, and black men, and they have had to understand themselves. When black women win victories, it is a boost for virtually every segment of society." Her vision for the people and for herself breaks past the whiteness and hierarchy of our society, but showcases that the double identity of a black woman is a root to address, that black women have power that cultivates the world. I'm sick of filling in your gaps, sick of being your insurance against the isolation of your self-imposed limitations, sick of being the crazy at your holiday dinners, sick of being the odd one at your Sunday brunches, sick of being the sole black friend to 34 individual white people. Find another connection to the rest of the world. Find something else to make you legitimate. Find some other way to be political and hip. I will not be the bridge to your womanhood, your manhood, your humanness. Ella Baker, also considered to be a feminist and civil rights activist, stood on the motto, "You didn't see me on television. You didn't see news stories about me. The kind of role that I tried to play was to pick up pieces or put together pieces, out of which I hope organization might come. My theory is strong people don't need strong leaders." Ella Baker was responsible for much of the work of Martin Luther King Jr., yet her approach to leading was a group-centered approach. This approach could be possibly compared today to the sisterhood circles that are developed to discuss the things that we might face as black women. Her group-centered approach acknowledges that voices were being left out, black female voices being one of them. Moreover, black feminism critiqued white feminism because there was a lack of understanding of how being black and female created a different experience for black women. Black women's rights were not fought for or advocated for, and the black feminism movement was a very great way of acknowledging this. Intersectionality, a coined term that connects to feminist Kimberly Crenshaw, sought to express the intricacies between black women's race and gender. Even so, intersectionality has expounded more on these identities that make up who we are. For example, University Professor of Sociology at the University of Maryland, College Park, and feminist scholar Patricia Hill Collins has work that surfaces around intersectionality and feminism, such as her book Black Feminist Thought, Knowledge, Consciousness, and the Politics of Empowerment, and her book specifically on intersectionality with co-writer Surma Bilge. Collins discusses intersectionality and black feminist thoughts as tools that unlock and embrace cultural differences that continue to be denied and oppressed in our world. I can remember hearing Collins speak at George Mason University at the Fall for the Books program, and she mentioned how black movements such as the Black Lives Matter movement should not exclude identities out of conversation, for instance, black women and the LGBTQ community. I'm sick of reminding you not to close off too tight for too long. I'm sick of mediating with your worst self on behalf of your better selves. I am sick of having to remind you to breathe before you suffocate your own full self. Forget it, stretch or drown, evolve or die. To continue with some other pioneers who advocate for black feminism today in their work and beyond, these names are Zora Neale Hurston, Bell Hooks, Janet Mock, and Audre Lorde. Zora Neale Hurston discusses symbols for understanding how black women can step out into their horizon in her book titled Their Eyes Were Watching God. The Crooked Room, which Melissa Harris Perry discusses in her piece titled Sister Citizen, discusses the shames and stereotypes that evolve around Black women and how it can be hard to maneuver around them in a hierarchical and patriarchal society that did not intend for Black women to survive in the first place. Hurston highlights these images through her character Janie with the struggles that the main character Janie faces through the control of men and others in her life. Bell Hooks, and yes, with lowercase letters, is a feminist who through writing, dialogue, and panel discussions found on YouTube inquires on ways in which Black women can carve out pathways to defining who we are. Her definitive choice to not capitalize the beginning letters of her first and last name is a mark that she makes to place more attention on the context of her work. The place that we do not want to find ourselves in is what Bell Hooks defines as cognitive dissonance, this state of walking through our lives thinking that we have made it. Hooks pushes for creativity in Black feminist leadership and challenges us to be focused on our own agenda and to imagine ourselves differently as a way to gain liberation. Lastly, young feminist Janet Mock sets the tone for intersectionality in the crooked room that she faces as a Black child with a transgender identity. Trans identities, along with other identities within the LGBTQ community, get left out. Janet speaks on this in her novel, Redefining Realness, My Path to Womanhood, Identity, Love, and so much more. Mock's works was influenced by many Black feminist scholars and speaks on how other feminists contributed to her growth and her writing. Janet's story can connect us back to Janie's story in Their Eyes Were Watching God because of the power that others have had on our lives and how she has to go through a path of self-discovery to get to where she is today as a strong Black woman. Janet still faces scrutiny from the community about her identity and on what she defines herself as. In response, Janet defines her experience for herself, stating, "When I speak about my personal journey, whether it's through my essays or podcasts, I am speaking from my personal experience. All that I say is from my own journey, not from that of others. Yes, I am humbled that my story resonates with others and in turn speaks on behalf of a community that often doesn't have their voices heard, but how I self-identify should not be subject of public debate or judgment."
The bridge I must be is the bridge to my own power. I must translate my own fears, mediate my own weaknesses. I must be the bridge to nowhere but my true self. Then I will be useful.
This is what Black feminist leadership is to me. It is taking that step to self-discovery and defining yourself for who you are, breaking away from the boxes that others try to subject us to. To be a Black feminist leader, I believe it requires the act of being the bridge to yourself in order to create pathways for others, as each of these feminists have done and continue to do. In the words of Audre Lorde, "What are the words you do not yet have? What do you need to say? What are the tyrannies you swallow day by day in attempt to make your own, until you will sicken and die of them still in silence?" Perhaps for some of you here today, I am the face of one of your fears because I am woman, because I am Black, because I am lesbian, because I am myself, a Black woman warrior poet doing my work, come to ask you, are you doing yours?